For every struggle in your life, there is a strategy. They didn't get it either. I'm gonna try y'all. For every struggle in your life, there is a strategy. They got it.
When it comes to things that really matter in life, I think all of us know that better is a perspective. You know why you think some people's lives are better than yours? Because you see the part that they show you. They might have a better house, but I wonder what goes on inside. And see, you don't know which one's better. If you live long enough, you will find out that some of the people you spent so much of your time envying were secretly miserable.
There is something in you that will deliver you, but in order to produce it, you have to go through the dark place. Because what God has for you is too big for you to be small. What God has predestined for you is too big for you to be petty. It's too big for you to hold a grudge.
All right, you geriatric fucks. We're starting this bitch.
All right. On you, though. Take it away, buddy. Let it rip, buddy.
So,
Let it rip.
my grandpa was telling me that I thought it was Iran, but I could be wrong. Some like Middle Eastern country is allowed to store military supplies in Canada now. Like Canada lifted regulations for them.
I got it. Okay.
Did you hear that though?
I haven't.
Because I
though.
just told you that.
Well, I know you just mentioned it, but I have a few questions now that I'm thinking about it. Who else stores military supplies there?
Yeah.
Why Iran, or why a Middle East country, or why would any other country need to store supplies there?
Like, what's their...
Yeah. Why is there a purpose of that?
I can't find anything on it.
And do we let other countries supply military supplies here?
Yeah.
Do we store stuff in other countries? I know, so having the Navy, when certain issues go down or whatever, we're always by Japan and kind of by China, going sailing through there or whatever. But I don't really know exactly why. But did you Google it?
I Googled it. I can't find anything about it.
Any, did you do any, what kind of terms? So, besides using Iran, if you're not 100% there,
I just put Canada, Googled Canada allowing foreign countries to
Nothing.
store military supplies. Nothing.
You're probably going to get banned from Google. You should look it up on Facebook. Can you look up things on Facebook?
I don't know.
You'd probably...
I don't do...
Your computer would probably shut down if you Googled that on Facebook.
I'd be getting them texts from the FBI. What the fuck are you doing? Close out immediately.
Your Instagram account would get disabled. No more Twitter.
Some of the things I Google, I'm definitely on a watch list.
From Zuckerberg or from the FBI?
I don't know, whoever's watching Google. Some of the shit that I Google that pops into my head.
I always think that when I'm Googling things or whatever. Whenever you Google something, you're always going to get an ad. You always get the ads later.
Yeah.
So right now, we're talking about, you need a pair of socks. Sometimes I feel like I don't even Google it, and it just hears me. You think your phone listens to what you're saying?
I don't know, I shut off Siri. I don't get, if you talk, I don't get them ads.
Yeah, but other apps can pick up your microphone. So Snapchat, that could be running your mic right now. Facebook could be running your mic right now.
Yeah, I don't do Facebook.
It's probably good. I don't like going on there because all I see is a bunch of far left nonsense, and anything from the right just gets blocked. Or
I don't know. I got a couple friends on there that have some far right nonsense.
Does it get blocked?
No, I see it.
I know my
But
uncle
it's
posts some wild stuff, but it's if there's no actual facts to it, it seems like the things that get blocked are the things that you have actual facts from.
Yeah, I have a friend that he does like, he's obviously a like big Trump supporter, puts it on Facebook, and he does uh, a cooking segment where he'll take whatever nonsense the left is pushing at the time, like, and he'll make it like into like a cooking segment, and like it's super funny the way he like twists all like what he's cooking and makes it like political to like make it
While he's cooking,
while he's cooking. It's hilarious. He got blocked. Those videos
Get
nationally blocked. And then he sat down, puts the camera like a straight on headshot. And he's like, "Hello, my name is Fake Fakerson. 2016, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Not this time." And like went off like, I no longer want to make any more money in the stock market. I don't like our economy. It's like just like not like this totally nonsensical video.
everything
like
that people from the left go after
Yeah.
the right for is what he
Because
would.
you get all them video or ads like that. You know, my name's so and so, and I voted for Trump in 2016. Not anymore. He
I-
made one of those, called himself Fake Fakerson. Video got blocked on YouTube, or not YouTube,
On
Facebook.
It would get blocked on YouTube. That's-
Like, are you like?
I just don't get that. Why do we censor everything? It doesn't matter if it's. I think a couple months ago when Trump was going after Twitter, I think, because he tweeted something that was false.
Yeah.
It was false.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think they blocked his account or they took the tweet down. I don't get that. I get that he's the president or whatever, but that really shouldn't matter with free speech, right? I think we have to we've talked about this before. We have to figure out a limit where we can let these companies are so big and there's so many users. We need to eventually like figure something out where we can cut them off, where they can't just block everything you say. Just because it's not true doesn't mean it should be blocked. Sometimes it comes down to the individual deciphering how to figure out what's factual or not.
Yeah.
I don't know,
know, because-
who are we just going to let decide that everything's right or wrong, or that's true, that's false? Because somebody's not going to know all of that. It doesn't matter if you're Google or not. Google would have to go through millions of studies if I said something that maybe something just came out or whatever in a study that I did on my own. I went to school, we did a study, and then I published my study, but I didn't make it to the front page of Google or whatever. And then I started posting it on Twitter, and then Twitter decides that they want to block it because it's not true, or they don't think it's true. Where's the line? Kind of get what I'm saying?
I don't know.
That might be a bad example, but
I think we've talked about this before too, but I think that Twitter should be able to do it. If they want to block Trump, they should have the full right to. Like, that's their business.
yeah, because
So
it
I
is a
think
business.
I think if you start controlling what businesses can and can't do on their own websites, that should not be. Like
I guess like
we're starting this website, me and my cousin, and we want to get like a forum started.
yeah.
Well, if some window licker starts spouting off a bunch of nonsense, I should have full rights to block them.
Yeah, if like
Whether-
he's saying things about the albums or something
Yeah.
that aren't even true or whatever.
So I don't know. I think
It just sucks, I think, the way I'm looking at it. I'm not far left, I'm not far right. I think both of those extremes, we need to figure something out to get rid of that, you know? But it just seems like right now, if you're not on the left, you're on the opposite side of the spectrum on the far right, and if you're not far right, you're probably far left. Or the people in the middle just our opinions aren't being heard, you know?
yeah.
So, taking that, I guess what sucks is it seems that all of the major social media platforms are all left, and the users are far left. Like the content that I see
Well, that's what they pump. That's what
Yeah,
they want
so
you to
that's
see.
what
That's how they have.
So as a business standpoint, somebody on the right would have to come in and create the next Facebook, but have to use something from more of the right-leaning side,
Yeah. Well, it's
or
all.
a Twitter or Instagram. But
You'd
that's
have
why
to
they're so
almost-
big to fail.
You'd have to regulate how they write their algorithms, because that's what's doing it. Is
Yeah, you're just seeing.
they're looking for keywords or whatever that
Yeah.
you're saying or using, and
But-
then you don't get the views, or
Yeah, they block you.
they block you, or
Like
whatever.
Seth's been blocked on Instagram so many times for posting, like supporting the small business things
Yeah.
and nothing. There's no swearing. There's nothing in it. Like go riot. There's none of that shit. It's literally.
Yeah, but Instagram's owned by Facebook now.
That's
so
what I'm
there's
saying
your-
though. Like they're blocking this stuff out. Why? Why would
Because I don't know.
it doesn't go with
Because we're pushing for a globalist fucking.
you conspiracy theories?
We are though, dude.
Look, people need to take a step back
If you
and look at this at a bigger picture.
Well, yeah, if that is happening and that's what they're pushing for, the Zuckerbergs of the world, they're going to be the ones that are going to be benefiting. All these big time, the Walmarts, the Amazons, the Facebooks, so they're going to censor it, everything to go far left, because that's what the left wants, is like a socialist, globalist.
Too far. They're too
Economy.
far left. We don't have a moderate left anymore. And now, exactly, you're right. We're going down that path. Whether you people want to believe that or not, take a step back and look at it. Like that is the path that we are going down. We're just getting slow. You start destroying small businesses. The people that own those businesses have to then rely on the government because they don't have a job. Well, then the government shut down so many other jobs that people are all. We have just today alone 778 million people filed for unemployment. Again, every
Yeah.
week we've had it. It's been almost 1 million people a week. The more that they have that, the more people are going to have to rely on the government, and I think that's what this next group of people in line, the next can't think of the term, but in office or whatever, I think that's what they want. They want the citizens to rely on them like they're this holy savior, and then we're under their control. And I think they're playing in the pockets of other countries who want to see the same thing.
You know what's crazy is if you go in and look at like John F. Kennedy and what he like campaigned to do and like what his like core beliefs were, he's almost more radically right in today's terms than the Republicans are. Like the left has just like 180'd and just went like way off in left field, really. That like John F. Kennedy, if he ran today, he'd probably be considered a Republican.
Yeah. That's one president that my mom actually liked a lot. And ever since then, I don't think she's ever voted to the right.
Well, yeah, but you got to look back at like what he was like campaigning to do, not just what color tie he wore, you know?
Yeah, I got you.
I don't know, it's crazy.
So censorship in politics, that kind of escalated. We could absolutely dive much further into this, but being the first few podcasts, I think
We'll get censored on our
yeah,
fifth
we
podcast.
don't want to get blocked right away. Although
I have no problem getting blocked.
the title is Everything You Don't Want to Hear But Should. And we're not just trying to tell you because we're opinionated. I'd say majority of the time we try to look at both sides of the picture and make a judgment call from there. And that's why it's nice when we do get to have different people on here, because we don't all have the same viewpoint on things. Anyways, I guess that's a good way to get into things. Today it is New Year's Eve. Jay and I both had to work till noon, and we rushed back over to his place to get started on this recording. I don't know exactly what Jason has written down over there, but
You started off.
I'll-
I think I have a lot of like New Year's, like 2021 goals, positive events that happened in 2020.
all right, I can go with that. So, as you guys all know, 2020 was kind of a hectic year, especially with the pandemic and COVID or whatever. But now that we are finishing that off and starting a new year, I think that this is a great time to take a step back and analyze your life. Maybe not even in the past year, but the past few years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, however old you are. Just take a step back and look at where you've come, maybe where you haven't gone. And if you're at that standstill, I think this past year with COVID, maybe you've had people close to you affected by it, or you yourself were affected by it, whether it's your job or your health or whatever. Look at that and kind of see if you're going in the general direction that you really imagined yourself being or going. And I'd say it's not too late, no matter how old you are, to kind of reflect and change things up. I'm sure everybody's got habits. Some might not be the best, but some of them are really good. And I think this is a good time to reflect on those and kind of determine what is or are your good habits and what are your bad ones and how to kick them and what ones to kick. So every year, I do it a couple times a year, but obviously New Year's resolution, I always write down my goals, and I do them in a couple different ways, I guess. So I break them down into different parts of your life, such as spiritual, your personal development, your health, romance, your business or career, your finances, your social, and your fun and recreation. I think not only does it give you a good outline of the different aspects of your life, but also kind of helps you with time management. And that way when the weekend rolls around and say you're really looking forward to doing something social, but really you had a personal development or a health or finance goal that you wanted to hit, but you kept pushing it off. This is kind of your outline to kind of reflect back on and to tackle the goals that you want to prioritize. You got anything on that yet?
Not yet.
All right. So what I do is write those all out. I'll say that again. Spiritual, personal development, health, romance, business, career, finances, fun and recreation, and social. I'll put those all out on a list or whatever. And then underneath each one, I'll do 3 to 5 goals on those. And then I like to do it I like to have like a short-term goal or two on them, and then like a 3 to 6 month goal. And then from there, when that 3 to 6 month period comes up, I'll take a step back, look at everything that I accomplished or didn't accomplish, and then plan it out from there on how I'm going to achieve that, or if that's something I truly want to really accomplish.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like
Is that making sense to you?
Yeah, that makes
I mean,
sense. I like
you
that.
can kind of see my paper, but not fully. How do you go at it, or how do you plan on going at it? Your New Year's resolutions or goals?
I just basically wrote down some goals I had in mind. I don't know. I don't really like the whole like New Year's resolution. I feel like that just kind of like,
The term.
yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
it's something that's too easily like broken. So if I look at it at like this and this date next year, I want this stuff to happen. Like it's more of a goal. I I don't know. I just wrote them down.
So when you have the goal, I think we talked about it. Maybe when Jake and Eric were on. Maybe not. Maybe we talked about it just us. But when you have the goal, kind of bullet point. No, maybe this was a different podcast topic I was going to talk about. When you have that goal written down, bullet point the different steps in that goal. So like why you want to why is one of the biggest things to have, a why towards it. Why do you want to achieve that? Why do you want that in your life? And then from there, break it down on how you're going to get there. So whether you got to work out for 30 minutes a day or 20 minutes more a day because you have a weight loss goal in mind, or you want to hit a certain max on your bench or whatever. Or for finances, like, oh, I want to pick up 5 more hours of overtime this week, or by the end of the year, I got to have 40 hours of overtime or something like that. Just it helps when you break it down into certain steps. So why, how, and then when you want to accomplish it. Have a date. Don't just write the goal down with no deadline. Put a deadline on it. That'll help you stay disciplined towards it and to really prioritize it.
Yeah, I don't do that. I just write the goal down.
Yeah,
I need to start doing that.
I would suggest trying to do that. I think I've noticed that that's really helped me, and if I look back at my notes, you can kind of see the progression. So I have the ones I have right here are from 2018, but I have a couple other ones in a different journal from, I think 2015 was the first year that I really kind of started doing this or focusing on personal development, and that's what kind of drew me to focusing on goals. And you can tell just the progression that I had, because I would, like you said, I would just write it down, like, oh, I want to make X amount of money, or I want to bench press this, or like just weird things like that. But then like the next year, like just a couple bullet points underneath it. And then after that, like it's kind of broken down into different topics. Now this year, like not only do I have it broken down into different topics, but then each one's bullet pointed, and then from there it's the why, how, and when I want to get it done. And I've just noticed that the more in-depth that I get with them, the more likely I am to accomplish them. So I would try that for you and see if that works. Hopefully the audio is not too messed up.
You're peaking pretty high there for a second, so I just turned.
Because I get intense when I talk about this stuff.
That one peaked.
Sorry for blowing your ears out of your speaker in your car. All right. Any questions on that, Jay?
I don't think so. I need to start doing that.
I would maybe after this, man. What I like to do.
Where did you learn that? Like what book? Out of what book? Or don't
I don't know
remember?
A specific book. It was basically a lot of like in books. I always talked about like setting goals, and then like a couple things would be like, oh, have the deadline in them. Like I've read that before. Why? I've noticed why is almost on anything that you have, like not whether it's a goal or like what you choose in your career, or like having purpose in life is like why? Why do you want to feel that way? So that was big. And one thing you can do is like just go to Google, and they'll have like outlines that you can look at, or just go to, don't use the first source you find, just go to a couple of them and then see what you like, and then maybe take a couple things from each one. I think that's kind of how I got that done. So
Yeah,
you said you don't like you. Well, what's that?
I feel like doing that, it keeps you more accountable than just.
And then you can take. What I like to do is take that, and then it's in your notebook, so you can always reflect back onto it. So they say that you're supposed to do it morning and night. Read your goals. I did that for a long time, probably for 5 months at it. Like I was pretty consistent with it. Maybe would miss a day in the week. I would like to get back to doing that, because one thing that I do every night, is write down 3 to 5 things that I want to accomplish the next day. So I think if I reflect back onto the goals and then write down them 3 to 5, that'll help me even have that much more intention towards accomplishing them goals. But anyways, you said you don't like the term New Year's resolutions. So
Let me sit that down.
I guess
I feel like
I-
for me, like you keep like that New Year's resolution in your head for like January, and you look at like statistically how many New Year's resolutions are broken, like you don't follow through with them every year. It's like, so if you look at it more of like a goal and you keep that like personal accountability.
well, I feel like people will still say like, "Oh, my goal is to start working out again." You know, like it's just so like you just
I don't know, in my head, like if I just say like, "Ooh, it's a New Year's resolution," it's like, well,
yeah.
I ain't
A
gonna
lot of people just drop it.
it's just like the word to me. I don't know. I'd rather
I would look at it
look-
as if
get,
you're
like-
gonna use that word, it would really mean like a big turnaround in your life. Like this is your resolution, like to resolve problems or
yeah.
the circumstances that you've been facing. I don't know. I think it's a big problem when people are like, if you're just really basic with the goal, like if you just write the goal down, it's just like saying I'm gonna work out every day. But if you have no purpose of why, what time you're gonna work out, when you're gonna work out, like how you're gonna figure that out, like you have to think of the problems that are gonna occur. There's gonna be days where, I don't have time, or you gotta take the kids, you gotta go do this. Maybe you gotta wait 2 times a week. You gotta work out in the mornings just to get it out of the way. Nobody's doing anything at 4:00 in the morning. We know
No.
that. So that's one way to get around things. Figure out the roadblocks that like kind of brainstorm some roadblocks that you're gonna face, and then think about how you can get around that and still get to that goal. This comes back to discipline. Don't just, take the easy way out and say, this came up, I wasn't prepared, so I just didn't do it, or I forgot about it, or let it go. I think that's a really, really easy excuse for a lot of people to stop on these resolutions or goals. They just stop and forget about them. I was gonna do this, but
Well, once you break it the first time, the second time's easier. So-
Jocko Willings. If you're gonna if you miss it that one day, it's much easier to miss it the next day. If you're gonna take a break, and today's the day you thought you were gonna have the rest day, you didn't plan on it, but all of a sudden you're kind of tired, and I'm supposed to go to the gym later, but I'm like, maybe I'll make today my rest day. That's the day you don't make that day your rest day. Go there and then plan it for another day. Because if you miss that day because of the mindset of, I just don't want to, it's so much easier to fall into that rut and miss the next one. So, I guess, why do people make New Year's resolutions or goals at the beginning of the year? Year's over, New Year shows up. Why do you think that people have resolutions, or
Why do I think people have
feel that
resolutions?
fresh start? Or
Well, I don't think anybody is really 100% happy with like their life ever. Like I don't think you could be Bill Gates. He's always, driving for the next step. There's always something that you're never at like the peak, and you never ride the peak. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so no matter what, I think people are always looking to better themselves, even if
And
You're
even
at-
if they're
even
not,
if you're
even
at
if
the
you're
bottom,
not personally bettering yourself, if you're far beyond like having to worry about finances or like improving, like I believe you should always keep trying to better yourself, learning new things, like blah blah blah. But
Well, I think everybody wants that. I don't think there's anybody out there that just can kick their feet up and be like, I am just perfect the way that I
Yeah.
am. I mean, there probably
well, I'm
is.
sure there's some arrogant people, but I think that even those people maybe would get their rocks off by helping other people at times.
Well, I think everybody has like goals they want to achieve or ways to improve their life, and
Yeah,
even if it's real minor, I think
definitely.
And just having that new year,
That
I think, is
satisfaction.
kind of that.
Yeah, I think it's like it just seems like when the new year comes, like everything that happened the year before, you can just
Yeah.
never happened. You know, I think in a way it can be good for some people if they're like in an emotional rut, or there's just been some real struggles. They can kind of just hit that corner of the new year and they're on a different path, or they believe so. But I think that a question to ask yourself is, are you in the same spot as you were last year?
Yeah.
And what led you there? Is it because you haven't changed anything and you just fall into those ruts? Because last year you probably made some New Year's resolutions, right? But yet you're in the same spot. So I think it's important to take a step back and figure out why. Why didn't you accomplish that? Why aren't you any further? Why are you maybe a step back from where you wanted to be? And then I have a couple examples. I know some things that got in my way is, I would bet just last year we probably went out every single weekend, and I didn't care to focus on working on extra things on the weekends. If something came up where I was like, oh, I'm going to work on this, I would do it. But if somebody said, hey, let's go do this, boom, right away I'd be like, yep. I like being social. I love going and doing things like that. But I know that that's not going to get me to where I want to be. So I think this past year I was able to, one, with the COVID too, I think that did help me, because things were, people weren't hanging out as much or going out all the time. But I want to continue that, and that's something that I'm going to try to do, and I know I will do it. But another thing, like skipping workouts, reading, learning, like, did I do those things? And a year ago, that was probably pretty rare, Once in a while I would. The year before that, when I was in school, it was a lot easier because I kept myself to a stricter schedule. But right there, like, I wasn't determined and disciplined with it. I just let things come up, get in my way, and I didn't reflect back on to where I wanted to be and what I had to do to get there. So I guess the bottom line of that is, excuses won't change your situation. You got to have the discipline and put the work in to get to where you want to be. Things are going to be hard, but that's why you do them. When it gets hard, you have to do it, because that's what's gonna acquire the real change. Yeah, man.
I don't have much to add to that. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there.
I don't know.
You had that little bit of pent up there, huh?
Yeah, I was looking at my notes a little bit, but I was kind of just going off on like what was in my head. Yeah. So I guess create your goals, and if they really do mean something to you, go after them and don't stop till you get there. It doesn't matter if it's your mom, your significant other, whoever it is. If they tell you it's stupid or you're not going to get there, why would you want that? Tell them to go fuck themselves. Cut them out. Seriously. If it's your best friend and they don't believe in that, why you want something or that you're going to get there, I think it's time to say you're not my best friend anymore and move on.
Yeah.
If you want to keep them in your life, go ahead, but maybe until you get to that goal, it's a good thing to just say goodbye to them and not have them in the way. You're only hurting yourself by doing that. And I can say for Jay and I both, we've both had to have done this in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
But I can say at the time it sucks a little bit and you kind of reflect on it, but overall we can already see ourselves going down a better path. Not to be arrogant, but when you have that vision of where you want to be, you kind of eliminate the things that are getting in your way when you know that they're not beneficial to you. You're not using people to get to where you need to be, but when they're in the way of you progressing because they're being negative or having that negative vibe towards you and what you want to do, tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, dude, negative people are cancer. They
Literally.
are fucking cancer, dude. And that was the main thing right there of how I started kind of cutting people out, not wanting to be around them, and some of them are in my own family. It's just like they have this mindset of like, why does this always happen to me? And like, life is
Victim
just so
mindset.
hard for me. And it's just like, I don't have fucking time for this, dude. I
Dude,
don't.
it drags you down.
I came in here 100% happy, and now all of a sudden I got to try to bring you back to reality on like everybody has shit to go through. I don't need you telling me all the shit you have to go through. It's fucking cancerous, man. It just brings your whole mindset down. Now all of a sudden I'm going home thinking about all the things that are setting me back
Yeah.
instead of like keeping that vision of what my goals are and how I want to achieve them. I just don't have time for negative people.
And the sad thing is with everyone, this is literally everyone. You determine how you're feeling that day. Nobody else can determine how you feel at any given moment besides you. If Jason came up to me and he's bitching at me because I did something wrong at work and he's telling me I'm fucking stupid, I'm a moron, and I get all pissed off, I let them 5 minutes ruin my whole day because he said that to me, that's nobody's fault but my own. He didn't do any... Literally, I look at it as he didn't do anything to make me feel the way that I'm thinking right now. Look, if you messed up or whatever, you take that, obviously if it's your boss or whatever, take it in real quick, figure out what you did wrong, fix it next time, and after that minute's up, that's it. Don't sit there and dwell on it. I actually have a quote from that. Did you really have a bad day, or did you have 10 to 20 minutes where you let your thoughts run undisciplined, which led you to a bad vibe that you let carry you away? Come on, you run this shit. Literally. It's that simple. Everything that goes through your own head, this sounds so stupid, but it's so true. Whatever goes through your head is literally up to you. If you want to sit there and dwell on it because it pissed you off, or now I can't have a good day because this happened, or this guy's being a dick so my day sucks, that's your fault. You can choose to do that, or you can just say, oh, forget it, I'm not going to let this asshole ruin my day.
Yeah.
Until you figure that out and start implementing it, you're probably going to be one of those people that comes up to your friends and is sitting there complaining about how bad your day was or how mean this person was and I had such a shitty day because of this. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself, and don't do it to the people that you're around. Like Jason said, it's cancerous and it's annoying, and nobody wants to be around that shit.
I'm trying to find this quote from Conor McGregor. I know I have like a video saved on my phone, but I don't remember exactly how he says it.
Can we play that in here?
I can
we
maybe
probably
just put
could.
my phone up to the mic or something.
We probably could. Not that we're monetized. Is it getting staticky somewhat and then going away for you
It
too?
kind of goes up and down every now and again.
If anybody knows how to change that and we can get rid of the static, please comment.
Yes. Now I can't find it anyways. Well, that just kind of ruined the whole
That's
point.
all right.
But
That's all right. And now brought to you by place ad here. You know what we should have done? We should have got some snacks for today.
Yeah.
You got some Fisher peanuts.
Sure. That's really annoying me because I don't want to like say
The
what
quote wrong.
the quote and it
And the intensity of it,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
whatever. I'll find it. Maybe we can I don't know. We can figure something out. All right. I just found it. I'll play it through the speaker.
Can defeat
Whoops.
nothing external can defeat the internal. The only thing that can take someone down or break you down is internal. Nothing external is strong enough. It's just about making sure your internal dialogue and your internal belief in yourself is strong enough that it can withstand the external. The external is there. You've got to accept it. You've got to embrace it. You've got to understand it and be aware of it. But don't let it seep into your internal dialogue. Nothing external.
So that's kind of like exactly what we were talking about
Hopefully that picked up. It sounded pretty good in my headset.
What I was watching it.
Yeah?
It picked it up.
Yeah, I mean,
Connor's on Tony Robbins' podcast. That's what that's from.
yeah,
From
check out get the name and title that quick of the podcast number. If you guys don't know who Tony Robbins is, he's I guess you could say much like a financial advisor / life coach, like
Motivational
guru
speaker type guy, yeah.
thing. But like he's extremely intelligent, and I love listening to him. He's one of my favorite people to read from and listen to off of YouTube. And now that I came across his podcast, Jay shared an episode with me, and now you can't really get enough of him. He really does speak from the heart and leads you down a path of inspiration and just kind of helps you figure out how to align yourself in life, and like we were talking about, make goals and keep moving forward.
Yeah, it's called the Tony Robbins podcast. And he had Connor on July 12th, 2019. He doesn't really number them. He just goes by like who's on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the whole thing's good. It's only like 45 minutes long too. So, that's what that was from. It's kind of
I listened to that on the way home from work. You were like, "You got to listen to this." I pulled it up right away, and it was pretty good. I liked it a lot. Connor has like that accent or whatever, but after a little bit, you kind of you pick it up real easy. And
but what he was talking about there kind of ties perfectly into what we were talking about, where you get them negative people around you, and you just, I don't know, it's so easy
the external environment and letting your external take you over. That's like we were saying, using that as an excuse not to move forward because this happened and that happened. It's life. Shit's gonna happen. I mean, we're pretty young, but I know that we're gonna run into freaking roadblocks where it just feels like we're getting crushed by boulders. And I think mentally right now we're kind of preparing ourselves for that.
Yeah.
Whether it's through the mindset of talking about it, or just like realizing that it's going to happen, and then having goals of how to get out of situations like that, or an idea of how to move out of a situation that does occur and feels like it's just crushing you down. I guess that kind of goes into my other point here. So, yeah, life is going to happen, and you have to make adjustments. It's just like going to a chiropractor. You're stiff, misaligned, and what do? They crack you up, align you back into place. Life's the same way. You're going to get bent out of shape. You're going to feel misaligned, become misaligned, feel like you're taking steps backward and getting further from where you want to be. But that's when you need to stop, take that step back, write out. Like, one of the things that I like to do is write out the problems that you're facing. You're going to have problems, but going blindly and pretending that they're going to go away if you just ignore them, that isn't going to get you anywhere. It may be in, I don't know, a week or whatever, that problem might be gone, or 6 months, that problem could be gone. But I believe if you write it down and you face it right away, you can get past it a lot quicker than you would if you just let it happen. So write it out and then break it down. Same thing you do for your goal. You write the goal down and then you break it out step by step. Well, same thing with the problem. How did that problem occur? Why did the problem occur? What could you do differently next time so the problem doesn't occur? And then I guess I had an example. So like my brother's going through that divorce or whatever with his wife. ex-wife, and well, not yet. But so that in itself is a problem. But then they have kids. So now you have 3 kids that there's so many things I can go off of like for this too, but like just trying to figure out what's best for them and setting aside your individual disputes with one another to help the kids. I think that so we have friends that their parents, I have a couple of different friends that have like their parents have gone through divorce or whatever. I have one friend who that's exactly what they did. The parents knew that together they weren't good, but they had to do what they could for the kids, so the kids had a better outcome in life, better chance at life. So they set aside their differences. I know that's probably harder than all hell. Like, imagine, because some people don't end, like, the divorce doesn't end well, you know?
Yeah.
So they set their problems aside and did everything for the kids. And now, 15 years later, they're like best friends again. And they just connect so well. But I think it's because they realized that at the time it was just all these issues they were facing that really ruined who they were. And then once they could work together and get the kids everything they needed, I think they realized that maybe they could do it together. I guess I don't really know exactly. Like, I've never been in a divorce or a major breakup besides maybe like 5th grade where you just feel like your heart gets ripped out. But like that's just an example. Like if you're in a divorce, sometimes it is more important to set your differences aside to help the kids. So that's one of those things where like things are becoming misaligned, but you're taking a step back, figuring out what the problem is, and then figuring out the solution on how to fix that. Maybe you didn't fix the relationship in itself where you're back together, but you did more for the kids than you would have if you would have just sat there and bitched back and forth with each other. So that's kind of what I'm trying to help my brother with, because he's going through that right now.
Yeah.
And he just feels like everything's crushing down on him, but it just sucks. It sucks seeing him go through that, but then to see where the kids will be if he doesn't buckle up and kind of push through the problem and evaluate things as what they are and how to make them better, then it'll be really sad to see where the kids end up if he doesn't fix that. That's really all I got on setting goals and making the adjustments when things do happen. You got anything on that?
No, I think you pretty well covered.
I got in a zone for a little bit there. Time. All right. We got like 15 minutes left or so, but any plans? Any plans tonight?
Not particularly. I'm kind of just
up in the air.
Yeah, up in the air. I don't really feel like going out to a bar or anything like that.
Yeah, I know we're just gonna go out. We're gonna go out with another couple and we want to find somewhere decent to sit down, but we also want to find somewhere we can like sit there and talk. If we want to talk for 3 hours, then we just sit there and talk for 3 hours, you know, and they're not on your ass about, oh, you gotta like in and out type thing. And then we don't want to basically get kicked out of there if it's getting too late, like they close at 9 or whatever. We don't want that. We want to find somewhere we can just sit, be comfortable, talk. If we want to leave early and somebody's got something going on, we can go do that. Just kind of having the options open right now. Yeah, like a winery would be cool to just sit and like they got the one in Ripon has like the fireplace and all that, and you can just sometimes they got live music. But we could sit there for a little bit, but then all of a sudden they close at 8 o'clock. It's like, well,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to have to move somewhere else and then move somewhere else. I kind of wanted to do like how Seth talks about, where they go out and they'll just sit there and here comes one course, and then they're just sitting there and you want something else and have a few drinks, but then appetizers, and then an hour later you're like, okay, we'll get like the main meal or whatever. That's kind of what I want to do, but I don't really know many spots around here that,
Do that.
yeah. Like, I don't really know any of them, I guess. Even like it seems like the nicer places to eat around here, it's just like the main courses. Dude, when I was in Italy, they have like 5 courses, I think it is. And every single restaurant had it. Like everywhere you went, they had a menu with like your beginner, your before wine, your with wine, your main meal, and then your dessert, and then after like your dessert there was like a thing that you would dip in like this wine that was a dessert itself, like the wine itself or whatever. But here it's you have like an appetizer, your main meal, and then a dessert, but it's never really presented that way, if you kind of get what I'm saying. Like the dessert menu's always this tiny little thing on the back,
Yeah.
not like it's not like a presentation like the main entree or whatever. That'd be something cool. I don't think a gourmet restaurant would do well in this area though. I feel like you'd have to be either Green Bay, maybe. I wonder what Green Bay has. I bet they have
Milwaukee's probably for sure. has them.
Milwaukee has some for sure. So I think that's what it would be, either
They're
south or
They're pretty regulated though with the whole COVID thing down there.
right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Right now.
I think too that has a lot to do with like how our food is made, like the ingredients in it. Like if you look at like I think Rogan talks about it where like he gets his pasta imported from Italy
Yeah.
and like
Do they make it all? It's super cool too.
like the different ingredients in making like the actual pasta where ours is like I don't know, you have like a bowl of something, you're always just
well, we can
so
use like
full.
certain flours and all like that, like enriched flours and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Whereas like Italy will have it come down to the basics of that food as much as they can without preservatives and shit. That was like how all their food was.
Yeah.
Mostly all their food at restaurants. So every single morning at probably like 6:00, the streets would be dead except for at restaurants. There would be vans, like these food trucks or whatever, going to all the restaurants and delivering all the ingredients for that day. And it would happen every day. So whatever you were eating that day basically got delivered that day, and then you got to eat it. Like it didn't just sit in the freezer for 6 months or whatever, and they just pulled out inventory when it came. Like all the stuff would just, so like the meat, fresh farm meat, things like that. Like they would be like butcher them that night or whatever. And next morning, boom, they're in the store or in the restaurant or whatever. That was really cool. The food, I think, it wasn't that the food itself was so different. It did have a different taste to it, just because there wasn't all them additives to it. Does it just go really staticky?
Mm-hmm.
That's not good.
There.
Here we go.
What'd you do? Just twist
I
it?
just turned it. I think there's something wrong with the cable. I think what we need is... Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. I think what we need is a cable that... I feel like I can barely hear myself right now.
Mm.
Talking there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
It does sound
Different? Different?
It's not different on here. It's just less harsh in the headphones. It didn't change in the program. It just
Alright,
sounds
there.
less harsh.
Now I hear it. All
Yeah.
right. What was I saying? Yeah, around here it's like we don't really have that. But then that's also the culture of food around here too. But I do like going to Milwaukee, like when we go down there by Beak, and there's so many different strips of Milwaukee. Like when you're downtown by like Waterfront, or you're down like there's like 2 other parts of downtown where you're downtown but you're like in different parts of the city.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like going along the river. I think it's called the Waterfront or whatever, or Water Street. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
But there's some really nice restaurants that, like in the summertime when you go out there, you can dine outside and sit like right on the edge there. We also one time we were down there, we took we took this little John boat, and we went up the river, and we went right in front of Lakefront Brewery, and there's like the railroad tracks or this old bridge right outside their parking lot, right over the river. We parked the boat, tied it to the ladder, climbed up on this big pillar, and we had a grill, and we made steaks there, and me, Michelle, Anna, and Beak, and just sat there and had some beers, and it was fun. Yeah, whenever we go down there, we do just some random thing with that kid. He always wants to do something so weird.
He's always got something up his sleeve.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Oh man, it's so fun though, because you just know it's gonna be a good time. Because he'll have like, you'll be like, what do you want to do, dude? I don't care, you know, whatever. Well, we can do this or this, and then he'll be like, well, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, bullshit, you don't know what to do. Like, you always have an idea of what to do, and then eventually he'll, like 30 minutes in or whatever, he's got 3 ideas, and they're all like awesome. You're like, yeah, let's just go do one of them, and we'll just see what happens. And there's the Mart or whatever the heck's down there. Do you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that what it's called, the Mart?
It's something like that. I know what you're talking.
It's like a
about.
festival, but then there's that beer. There's
Mhm.
oh man, $2 pints, and they're all local from like Milwaukee beers, or like all Wisconsin beers, I should say. That's kind of fun. I like doing like that kind of thing. Like when we did the pick your six, and you just that's just like a whole different. It's also like the art form of it, I think, or I don't know, and then the social aspect. It's way different than just sitting down and playing bar dice or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about going down to Milwaukee. Corey's like, you guys should come down to Milwaukee. I think we went down there last year for New Year's. No, not last year, 2 years ago. I don't know. I don't really want to go. That's what I said like before. I don't want to go out. I just want to be able to sit there with a small number of people and just talk. And just, if you want to have a couple of drinks, have a couple of drinks. But now where I'm just sitting at a bar ripping shots or something, like dancing. I don't want to dance. And
I've
feel like
always
shit in the
hated
morning.
the dance clubs. I
Yeah?
hate them, dude. They are the worst.
You don't like going to like red, white, and blue, or have
No.
you? Really?
I don't like it. Like Molly's in Oshkosh.
Oh, I don't like going
Don't like
there.
it.
I hated going there.
The Toad. Don't like it.
Oh no! Don't you talk like that?
I don't like it.
That's a lie.
I liked the shenanigans that we
Yeah,
did. Like,
yeah, but like the idea in itself of what you're supposed to be doing.
don't like it.
Yeah,
Don't like it.
I can't say the same. When I like when you get a little tuned up and you're real social, and then you just start dancing. And not that I'm the greatest dancer, but a couple beers and I am.
You think you are?
At least I feel like it.
Yeah,
Dancing with the stars.
I don't enjoy it. I like the shenanigans that we used to cause in there, but that's about it.
Like what?
Like when we pulled that table to the middle of the dance floor. Remember that?
Something just so dumb, but I remember
We
there was-
stole the bouncer's table and we pulled it in the middle of everybody.
I remember there's
We
like,
took them chairs outside. You remember that?
Yeah, that was the day that you just walked right in. There was like 4 bouncers. There's like 4 bouncers. Hey, you better check these guys, and then I get ID'd, and you just walk right through. I don't think any of us were 21.
Nope. Yeah, we stole their table and then like they went into the crowd to get their table, and then me and you jacked their chairs and threw them outside. Remember that?
I don't know. I'm surprised we never got like walked out of there. But it's not like we were like fighting or something like that. It was just literally a shenanigan of like, what are these idiots doing? And that's literally why we did it, just to be like, who the hell is just gonna move a table in the middle? You know, like people are dancing. Let's just slide this table right here in the
Right
middle.
in the middle
We'll
of the
just-
dance floor.
We'll just sit right here.
I just like messing with people. I don't know.
Yeah.
I used to really like that. It's just
It still is kind of fun. Like you said, when we were gonna go, just pretend that we didn't know each other and just sit
Yeah.
there and holler things back and forth like we were best friends. Or, like we've known each other our whole life, but these people are like, who the hell are these
Yeah.
two guys? Sit 4 stools away. That's something we should still try to do that. Or start going to more weddings.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably going to be a lot of weddings this summer that we could hit up.
That was a lot of fun. Like I said, if
A gift, man.
you
We got to bring like a little gift, like a box, like it's wrapped with a card on it. And sorry I'm late. Oh my gosh. Pull
you
that.
sign it, you throw like $10-20 a person in the card. Sign it with your real name.
Yeah, the only problem would be we could probably get away with it if there was a bunch of younger couples, like 20s or 30s getting married. You try to go to somebody that's 45 and been married 3 times. As soon as you walk in there, everyone would be like, "Who the hell is this kid?"
Yeah.
Then we'd wrong address.
Yeah, but if you're getting married for the 3rd time, I don't think you're doing a big.
You never know, man. Be our luck. We would walk into one of them. There it is again, 20 people, and it's all family members, and then we're sitting there with a thumb up our butt and presents in our hands, like, yeah, we're here for the party. But actually, maybe that time they'd be like, "Hey, man, worth the shot. Like, let's have a beer together." It definitely went all goofy again.
It got quiet.
Man, I hope it's working on there. Wake up with Folgers in your cup.
Yeah, we got to figure out something like questions or like something to end it.
Yeah. All right. So that's what we'll do. If anybody made it this far, throw out some questions for us. You can comment on our Instagram. Maybe that's what we'll make a post on Instagram. We'll have you guys throw some questions out there. I don't know if you can reply on Spotify, but I know you can leave reviews on Apple. So if you did make it this far, please leave a review. That will help us kind of grow the page a little bit, and then more followers. That's more information for you guys. Maybe more people on the show, different styles, and then maybe we'll either start the podcast with some sort of interesting topic that we do every time, or we'll finish it off with something special. Anyways, I think we'll probably wrap it up from here. Thank you guys for listening and joining us on another one. We hope you have a safe and fun New Year's Eve. And really take this serious. Take your goals pretty serious, because you're the only one that's going to determine where you are in a year, 5 years, 10 years from now. I think that it's always important to be serious about where you want to be in life and not to just idly go by day. I think once you have everything written down, if you are struggling to find what your purpose is or what you want to do in life, once you have that outline of the goals that I mentioned right when we started this, that'll really give you a clear vision of what you want to do. So, until next time, Happy New Year. Peace.